Hey, Mr. Milton. And I'm going to be talking about my progress for my thesis paper on the Tiananmen Square protests, and with a focus on student activism during the protests. And so, what I have so far is that I've learned many things about the Tiananmen Square, such as the various symbols of the Western style reform that these students and many other people of China had a nationwide movement and call and demand for. And some of these symbols are the goddess of democracy that was unveiled during the protests and was one of the major icons of the protests, symbolizing democracy and the desire for political and social reform. And also the aftermath, and with the tank man, and the world seeing this photo of a man standing in front of military style tanks inspired the world and showed them of the cruelty of the Chinese government at Tiananmen Square. And for student activism, what I found was that it's been a strong force for many years, even after Mao Zedong's revolution. Shortly after that, in 1919, large numbers of university students staged what was to be called the May 4th movement, advocating strong nationalism and greater social equality. And during the 1950s, China's new communist leadership was more open to diverse ideas on social, cultural, and economic issues. And students were involved in such movements as the 100 Flowers movement, where a wide variety of viewpoints were allowed to bloom and come into the Chinese society from the outside. And things like this caused a new wave of activism in the 1980s, demanding greater political openness. And this is the main struggle of the Tiananmen Square protests. Students wanted political reform. Students wanted a Western-style government, one that wasn't communist or less communistic, and gave the people more political freedom and gave the people greater say in who could rule and how they were ruled. And most of my sources from this book, The Perspectives on Modern History, the Tiananmen Square protests of 1989, and other essays and accounts of the protests that I've seen online, and read some articles about, and I have all of my sources written down. So, yeah. So that's what I have for my research so far, and I'll be taking more steps to develop more on what I have from this point. Thank you.